Hello, race fans. It is Saturday, April 29th, and it's where I'm at. It's 3:22 in the morning, and we're here for the Sprint Shootout, first ever Sprint Shootout for the Azerbaijan GP. How you doing, Biggles? How you coming along?
I was going to say 3:22 in the morning, my friend. That's the same time zone as me in the Americas. How are you in the same time zone as me? I'm just looking at
Texas,
the.
dude. I'm in Texas.
Oh, everything bigger and better in Texas, my friend. It ain't Coda.
No, not really. I moved from New England.
Welcome along, everybody. We know everybody in the chats out there. King Show, all the usual suspects. Are glad to see everybody back again. Paula, thank you very much. Yes,
it's a few who are absolutely asleep at this moment. That's okay.
Yeah, wake up. Don't make us come and knock on your door at 3, 4, 5, 7 a.m., 9 a.m. Doesn't even matter. 24 hours a day here. We'll be knocking on your door, won't we? Knocking on who will be getting themselves on pole. Do you think Charles is looking very, very quick here for the Ferraris?
Ooh, he is looking wonderful right now, and he is likely to. I mean, it's Verstappen, Charles, and Sergio. Basically, those are the three that likely are going to take on the pole for the sprint. So, but we're dealing with different formats, so this is something that we need to talk about. So first, there are mandatory tires for mandatories that need to be used. Mediums have to be used in the first and second session. Third session, softs. Just looking at, I know Lando Norris is one of two drivers where if they get to Q3, they're kind of in trouble. They don't have the right tire anymore to use in Q3. So that's an interesting question going on. The other thing is that the times for these sessions are greatly reduced. 12 minutes in Q1, 10 minutes in Q2, and then 8 minutes in Q3. And what this means is in Q1, they can go out, do a flying lap, come back in, and then do another flying lap. They won't have the ability to do put another set of tires on, do another flying lap for Q2, Q1. It's just not enough time to go out do the lap.
It is very, very interesting. It's very, very confusing. So I apologize for everybody in Formula One that may be new to Formula One. Of course, in race statistics, I think most of the people out there are very, very knowledgeable on how Formula One works. But of course, with this whole shake-up of the system, and why not give it a shot? I don't think it's too bad.
New. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame.
It's confusing, isn't it? Because I'm totally confused, my friend. I've been following Formula One for many, many years. Give it a shot. Let's see how it works, and we'll try to explain exactly what you just did, the best of our ability of how this system's going to work, and we'll get our head around it. And hopefully, if it works, we'll continue it for some time on. If it doesn't, try something else.
But one of the things is that this was announced literally this week, so it's that brand spanking new. So, yeah, literally.
I know that's the reason why we're confused, and I think everybody in the chat as well is confused. Remember, we have a walking Wikipedia of knowledge out here, and I'm so glad to be back with everybody in the stream there, everybody in the chat. I tell you what, mate, you know that they know their Formula One, and even they're confused. So if we can get them confused, there, Grashy, well, we're all in trouble, aren't we? But either way, pictures are pictures, and all we can do is bring you the cars going around the track as fast as possible and show you the actual data on your screen.
I think the other thing I should note here is that we had a quali session yesterday, and that session sets the grid for Sunday. And this quali session, the sprint shootout, I should say, sets the grid for the sprint tomorrow. And some of the people are like, well, what does that mean for the sprint? Why are we doing the sprint now? Well, the sprint itself still has points. So if you score you come across for P1 in sprint, you're going to get 8 points, and that's going to reduce 1 point for each place down to P8, where you're going to get 1 point. So there are still points on the line. So there's that is that. What is at stake here? There's still points. Functionally, we had a PF2 session last year that would be in this slot, and it was basically boring as all heck because the teams couldn't do much with it because technically the cars coming out of Quali from Friday were in park for May. And ultimately, that meant that they couldn't like test new parts, try anything. They could do like bit of wing bits changes, and that was about it. So now that we removed that FP2 for this now an actual race session, I'm actually pretty cool. This is kind of like, I find this was really cool. This was a good change. Someone's asking about who is the original guy. Where is Ryan? Dude, Ryan is going to come back for the sprint and for the race itself. He doesn't normally do practice, so someone else right now, and that's perfectly fine. I've been doing practice since last year, and you guys should be like not on like, yeah, I know this is weird. It's a quality session, it's a sprint session, but Ryan's not doing it. That's because it's not in its normal slot. So good.
Exactly, yeah. Because we're all like a fumble, aren't we, on the situation at the moment with the shootouts and all that jazz this weekend for something that the Formula One management is trying here at Azerbaijan there in Baku. And you got to remember too as well, I'm not quite sure you even are aware of this one, Grash, and I know you have a little bit of your encyclopedia of Formula One knowledge, but those cobblestones, remember the castle section? Those cobblestones, it's literally historical. They rip them up, tarmac over them, and then replace them later.
No, they don't tear them up. I only know this because you told me about this.
Okay.
We had a chat earlier. This is the only reason why I know that there are cobblestones. And then you told me not to Google it, and I went ahead and Googled it. They don't rip up the cobblestones. What they do is they put over basically a protective barrier. So it basically you would use in your garden to put over your soil to keep from weeds from popping up through it. And so they basically cover the cobblestones with that, then put gravel on top of that, and then they pave over that section. And that's just so that when done with the race, they can just pull up the biomaterial, and the cobblestones are still there protected.
That's exactly the reason why I wanted to throw that question at you, because I knew you could do your research on that, because I didn't know the answer to that detail. And rely on Grash, of course, rely on the Racing Statistics channel. Welcome along, of course, to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We've had a bit of a breather, we had a bit of a break. Of course, we're all missing Formula One since Albert Park in Australia. And g'day, mate, Za, and Sheila's and everybody else out there, because, it kind of feels like you're going through a withdrawal, isn't it? Of not having Formula One, but we're going to be having some Formula One medium tires, hot tires. Weather's looking pretty solid for a dry race, a dry sprint shootout. Who knows? Hopefully we get Dan in here in a minute too, because I really want Dan in the commentary booth alongside yourself, Mr. Grash, and of course Racing Statistics. We're back.
Yeah, so what happened with the so-called spring break is basically we were supposed to have 24 races. China was on the calendar, but for reasons, lots of reasons, China had to be canceled. And unfortunately, there was no way to reschedule or schedule another race weekend in its place. It was just that too close. So we got the 3 week spring break. The cars are now just coming out onto track right now for the first qualification session. And the Williams, as usual, are up front. The one thing about that break, which is interesting, is that they talked to Max Verstappen. He was talking about that, and basically in Australia he was not well. He came in a day late because he was sick, and he wasn't at 100%. And basically said, "Yeah, I kind of took those 3 weeks to my advantage to heal up and get better, and I'm feeling." And he's now back on 100%. Dude was awesome in Australia, not feeling well. He's now at full, 100%. Yeah, if that's not going to put the fear of whatever into you, I don't know what else. Sergio Perez just coming out of the garage right now.
That's right, exactly. So welcome along, of course, to the sprint shootout. So the drivers will get out there and give about 10 minutes and change there for the first shootout session. So beautiful conditions, of course. And if you are trackside to Baku, enjoy yourself. The cars are out there. We know that Charles Leclerc is the man. It's been very quick around here. We know the Red Bulls are fast. And a little bit of an Aston Martin surprise, I would have to say. They haven't been delivering the absolute results that would be expected from Aston Martin, considering their factory upgrades and all that jazz has been occurring. Any other surprises? George Russell has been a surprise. Mercedes, what about Hamilton? Questions?
The prize, Hamilton took 5th in the qualification yesterday. What's interesting is that yesterday during the qualification session, both of the Aston Martins had an issue with their DRS not opening, and that is why they fell further down the grid. They qualified further down than you would have expected. So that was something that happened there was an issue with it with FP1, which they thought they fixed, didn't fix. So yeah, that's kind of why. So they're a team to look at to see if they're improved, if they've made it the correct fix for the DRS.
Chuck Leclerc at the moment. Well, they're going to get the sprint out, and they had to go as fast as possible as they can. Basically, a couple of laps and change, depending on the tires that they're on, looking like mediums and on most of the drivers. Pretty much everybody on that lap at the moment, and everybody on track at the moment there, Gresh.
So again, this session started with 12 minutes. They are required to use mediums on their cars for this session. So everyone is on mediums. That's why you're not going to see anything about.
Okay.
Yeah, because everyone's using mediums. It's required as part. That's part of the rules of this shootout. So tires are dictated.
The reason why I'm getting confused with all this confumbling that's going on for the sprint weekends. Hey, thank you very much for clarifying that. Ask questions, and everybody in the chat, it's going to be answered. Can we get to 200? Can we get around here? And obviously, Norris is on a fly. Everybody's on a fly right now. So you can see on that track map, dots, times coming in. Purple sectors here, green sectors there. Hopefully not yellow sectors. Off track. So off track's difficult here in the walls when they take no prisoners here in Baku, because the wall will be aka murder, aka front wing, aka damage. And you'll be doing that during qualifying session, sprint shootout.
Yeah. That yellow is still longer. What's going on? We have a yellow flag in sector 1, which usually means someone went into the runoff zone.
Not many of those. Too,
now green flag. Now it's a green flag. So that's something to like. So who went off is the bigger question. I haven't seen a replay to tell you who did or did not.
They don't have time to look at all the million cars around. Williams on the top of the timesheet because they went out quickly. Hockenberg comes in and slots into that P3 position. Looking at some absolute flyers. Hamilton's looking pretty quick there. Verstappen, well, we don't have to die him. Norris up into P3. I'd like to see the McLarens doing a little bit of performance. I'll always look out for Charles Leclerc. Can Sergio Perez try to dethrone his double-time world championship teammate? Will be a question to be asked because he has to be doing this very soon, this championship. He doesn't want to be waiting a little bit longer. Charles Leclerc looking quick. And Max Verstappen looking quick. I expect both of those drivers to be at the top of the timesheets once they navigate.
And right now they are setting times in the 144 range, which is what we could expect. They're all within about a second with each other right now, down through P8. Perez now, okay. Verstappen and Perez now taking, okay. Max going 133.563, a second faster than Perez. Now Leclerc going 133.372. So the duel's begun. The duel between Max and Leclerc has begun. They have enough time to get around to do a cool down lap and then do one more fast lap. So we've got time for them on these tires, and potentially also a pit stop if they wanted to. But they'll probably stay on the tires.
Yeah, well, also Charles Leclerc, top of the time sheets. What the Charles star, bang! Verstappen goes quicker, but I guarantee you Charles will be a little bit quicker on that one. Ferraris are back. Ferraris have dominated the circuit, and Ferraris on top of the time sheets. And on top of that one, we have Dan, the man. Well, he's not going to be too happy about Max Verstappen being a Dutchman, but Dan, you're in here. Dan, welcome along.
Thank you, Biggles. Back here. I was here yesterday, of course. Yeah. I've just had a look, and I come in on Piastri having a bit of an off in turn 3. So, yeah, that is not what Piastri would have wanted. Of course, he's going to... Well, the papaya man, the man from your country, Australia, he's going to have to go for another one.
so far we don't have Aston Martins have not set a time, Bottas hasn't set a time, and Ocon hasn't set a time. So they are the ones at the bottom of the pack at the moment.
Yeah, got a lot of excitement at the moment as everybody in the chat there. Welcome along, of course. You're listening to the famous words and the famous commentator there of Grash, of course, bringing you the entertainment here on Race Statistics. Dan the Man and Dean Biggles is in here as well, too. So I bring you the sprint. It's fast, it's quick.
Don't tell me, Biggles.
Oscar.
Don't tell me.
Come on, Oscar.
Yeah.
Don't show me something happened to Oscar. Please no.
Something did. Something
no.
did. Not to Oscar, but to the other Dutch driver. Again, same corner. This time, though, Crash, he has learned, and he did go straight on instead of turning left.
Oh, boy.
Crash just seems like, oh, boy. What's going on?
Again, part of what happened yesterday is that we think that there was a drive-by-wire failure that contributed to that. So, but still, it's just still not good for De Vries to have not. It's still, we got like 4 minutes left, and he hasn't still set a time. So
the Williams going.
So who's in danger zones, everybody, at the moment there? So obviously,
Hulkenberg, Gasly, De Vries, Zhou, and Bottas. So
it is a surprise to me that Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez in a Red Bull and the Ferrari are slower than both of the Williamses on medium tires. Of course, everyone needs to be on medium tires. That's the regulations for this sprint shootout. But
we definitely got to. Yeah, we got to definitely shout out Sargent. He's P4. His teammate is P3. The only difference between the two right now is like within 1/10, less than a tenth between the two on track, and they're P3, P4. So that's Williams. Straight line speed has always been known. They're getting a huge boost from that strength right now this weekend.
It also seems like the straight, and especially with the straight line speed that Williams has, it just excels at this track. A very top speed heavy track. This one, you need a lot of straight line speed, and the quicker you go in the straight lines, the more time you're going to gain on this track, especially with that 2 kilometer long straight that you have on the front straight, and then, of course, after turn 2, you have another quite long straight after that.
Just did his second flying lap. He has improved on his time. Purple across the boards, 142.820.
Oh, Max, you're back. Stop it, Max. You're showing off right now. I'm sure Dan would be very happy being a Dutchman.
You know who's showing off? Charles Leclerc is showing off 142.820. 4/10 quicker than Max Verstappen. So Charles Leclerc, he's the one showing off at the moment. Carlos Sainz struggling again in that Ferrari. 8/10 off again of his teammate Hamilton, though, doing a great job in that Mercedes. 7/10 back on the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, but in P3 at the moment.
So right now we're looking at coming to the end of this session.
What's happening here? What about Mercedes? Yeah, go ahead.
Hamilton. Now that we've a couple seconds now, Hamilton's now P3, Russell P5. So they've improved, their times on the board. Again, we got Leclerc, Verstappen, Hamilton, Sainz, Russell, Perez in the top 6. Well, Perez now just jumped down because Alonso just went P6. Stroll is in P12 right now. Norris is P8, Paske is P12. So the Haas's are P12, P15. Right now, the driver at risk is Hulkenberg, and then Zhou, Bottas, Tsunoda, Gasly, De Vries are the bottom 5 at the moment.
Not so happy with De Vries here as a Dutchman, to be honest. De Vries had a difficult start to the season, really. But his showing this weekend...
But come on, Hulkenberg. We want Hockey to get back on there. The old Hock star, the Hulkenberg himself. Can he get it done and to get into the next part of qualifying? Well, time will tell. Anybody else? Stroll goes up currently at the moment into P8. Oscar, my boy, you got to get it done. Alex Albon, of course, in the Williams has been a fantastic job this season. Maybe secured on this one, I have to say, in the P12. But Bottas in trouble. We know the Alfa Romeo's a little bit in trouble. And somebody's in trouble because they're in the fence. Who was that?
That is also, or Oscar Piastri. That is Logan Sargent. Excuse me, Logan Sargent. is out of this qualifying session, and that is this qualifying session over to 25 seconds on the clock. This session is not going to be restarted. It's not worth it. Not enough time for the drivers to go back around, and not enough time probably for the mechanics to fix that up for the sprint race too, because that is a lot of damage, and that, looking at the angle of that rear axle, might be a gearbox gone for Logan Sargent too.
The
Yeah,
tire
Gresh,
is,
that's not going to buff out, my friend, is it? Go ahead, Gresh.
no, that's not a buff. That's not a wax on, wax off moment here, people. The tire is off the ground, up at an angle. That's how bad it is.
There we go. There's the message. SQ1 will not be resumed. As I just said, 25 seconds, not worth it, really.
So Hulkenberg survives at P15.
Yeah, stop.
And Bottas. Zoe and Bottas do not survive. Tsunoda does not survive. Gasly does not survive, and De Vries does not survive.
Well, it sounds like a Netflix series, right? Are they going to be driving surviving, my friend? Some of them aren't.
Well, the funny part is, Grash and I yesterday did a bit of a prediction on this SQ1 and SQ2 sessions, and Grash said, "I'm expecting Gasly and De Vries to bounce back from yesterday." Now, Gasly and De Vries are both second to last and last again. So this is absolute scenes.
They were not given. So I was wrong, because both of them were not able to set a proper lap. Apparently, it looks like. I mean, Gasly's time is 1:46, which is sort of racy-ish, but De Vries set a 2.13. That's his time.
Oh.
Way too deep.
Yeah, but I tell you what, right now, Grashy, mate, there's one thing I can guarantee you after casting of Dan for many, many years and seeing Dan actually race now for a couple of seasons, he can't make it into the pit road without crashing. So Grash, if you want some ammunition on fighting with Dan in the casting booth, just ask him if he could box correctly.
That I did not know, and I will use that another time later. But anyways, yeah, so De Vries is an interesting scenario. Is like he did set at 1:48, so he should be okay. I thought his last attempt was 2 minutes. Okay, so basically what I was worried about is that De Vries had not set a proper time. He just hit that. Boom. Yep, went in too deep. Hit everything.
Yeah.
He's lucky he's not spinning like that.
What do you mean he hit everything? Did he like jump the fence and just like slap it into the pit crew?
He's lucky that he didn't lose. He went and hit the side and kept going straight. And he's lucky that he kept going straight, because previous crashes in that vein, we saw the car go across the whole circuit. I'll either take your Mazepin or Schumacher debacles from last year and the year before. So that's a rookie mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, you're bringing controversy in here, right, Dan, with those questions. That's something for the racing statistic community as well. What do you guys think about the situation there from our sole Americano driver? Remember, we had 3 races in the United States of America, so don't you go messing with the old USA. Logan made a little bit of a tangle with the fence. I told you, he did not buy the fence flowers. I always say that to drivers.
Logan is not happy. Logan is not happy with himself.
Yeah.
And rightly so. It was in P11, boys. And if there's one position you want to be in at the end of SQ1, it is that, 10th place or above. And Logan Sargent looked like today on the mediums, he would have had a real good go for it. Because on the mediums, that Williams seems to have some serious pace. And that might be an outsider for the points in the sprint race here. What do you think?
Yeah, I have to say, Dan, he's gone to he's gambled in Las Vegas, unfortunately, a little bit too early, and he's folded. Too early. Is that too early on the old gambling funds?
No, it's never too early. Vegas is open 24/7. So Sargent is P11. His teammate Albin is P10. Again, only a tenth faster than him. So he could have been easily going into have a top 10 position before he crashed. So that is again unfortunate. So what's going on is that essentially, because it's now gone into red flag, they're going to take their time to fix the track. Normally there would be like a 7-minute break between Q1, Q2 in the shootout. That's how it would normally. I'm guessing because of the red flag, we will get a Q2 will start or recession start signal at some point, telling us when that will be.
This is not like the race though, where we need at least a 15-minute notice before we go green again. It's not like that. As I look at a replay of Yuki Tsunoda, what does he do? Is this just a board? Yeah, this is an onboard radio from Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, and I like to point out that in the race scenario, they don't go to a red flag scenario unless they possibly have to. Whereas in Quali and Sprint, they go to a red flag very quickly, as opposed to the race itself. Hence why the race has that 15-minute restart, because they really needed that 15 minutes or so to get things in order.
There's the message. Start of SQ2 will be delayed. So that means that the start time of SQ2 will not be 7 minutes after the end of SQ1. It'll be a bit later. And once again, a delay after an SQ1 session. Like we saw yesterday. It's been rough in the Q1 sessions, hasn't it, this weekend, Biggles?
Oh my God, it's been horrible. And I'm not Biggles, though. But I was here yesterday on stream, and we had chaos in FP1. We had chaos in Q1. We have now chaos again in Q1 today. So, yeah, did you
You're
like
Crash, mate? What rhymes with Crash?
Crash.
What is that?
Yeah, I was waiting for that one. What did Logan unfortunately do?
Where are you going with this? I'm sorry.
Oh, Dan, help me out in this one. Dig me out of the deep end of the pool.
Oh, I've dug myself into many holes in my commentating career, and I'm a professional of getting out of it, but even I can't get you out of that.
All right, red flag on this one then. Okay, it is not a red flag. Unfortunately, there was a red flag to the race, but that's because it was the dying stages of this scenario. Welcome, everybody. We're glad to be back, of course. I miss the chatter. I just miss all the gladiators out there that just sit there solely, watch the race there, and give us their feedback. That's what it's all about. And we love everybody here. So hit the like and subscribe, please. Otherwise, Dan and Grash are going to be following you, chasing you around Azerbaijan for several laps. You don't want that. You don't want that.
Well, I don't know what the next start time of SQ2 will be. We haven't gotten that message yet. Or at least I haven't seen it yet. Oh, there we go. Race control. SQ2 will start at 12:53 local time. Right on cue. That is in about 3 minutes time. All the cars rushing to the end of pit lane to get underway. The two Mercedes cars lined up behind each other. Behind one of the Red Bulls. That is Max Verstappen. So Max Verstappen at the front of the queue. And Stroll, meanwhile, wiping the sweats off his face of SQ1.
Oh, come on, Dan.
While we have time to...
Are you not loving the fact that there's a Dutchman on the front, or almost on the front of the grid there? Dan, yeah, by the way, if anyone doesn't know, Dan's from the Netherlands, so Dutch courage, Dutch army.
I was, but since last week, I've been for Marcus Ericsson. I've been supporting him since I've moved to Sweden, so there we go.
That's IndyCar, my friend. That's also this weekend.
He is the IndyCar. He's the reigning Indy 500 champion.
Yes. But I have to say, though, Grash, Rinus VK is going to win it this year. Watch my words. He's going to win it this year.
Oh, by the way, that's one for the chat there.
We are days away from May, my friend, the month of motorsports. I will hold you to that.
All right, so guys out there, this is not just a Formula One here at Racing Statistics. There's also throwing a couple of IndyCar puns into their predictions. Go ahead with that one.
Yeah, so in chat right now, when is Q2 starting? It should be about a minute and a half right now. Again, it is a 10-minute session. Medium tires are required on all the cars in this session.
Now, they went to the end of pit lane quite early, Crash, and with about 120 to go, well, as I can see here, the tires are going to cool down massively. So they're going to have some trouble heating those up on their warm-up lap. So it might not be their first flying lap that is going to be quickest, as we have seen this whole shootout so far. 10 minutes only, this SQ2 shootout, so you don't have a lot of time. If you do mess up a lap, you're only left with 2 other laps. So you only really have 3 flying laps if you set it up correctly. So you do need to get a representative lap time in quite early here.
Yeah, and definitely, and I think that's they're stacking up that way to get who's who on the track type scenario. That's the only reason why you'd be doing this so early. It is weird to see them all. It was like 3 minutes to go. The notice was put out, and they all like raced up to get in line. So,
well, there's a to throw some controversy into the chat. That I just saw a man on the live feed with a Lewis Hamilton 8-time world champion T-shirt. Now, who says that Lewis Hamilton is an 8-time world champion in chat, and who says he's a 7-time world champion? And Max,
he's an 8-time world championship. You cannot deny the man that did it, regardless of controversy in the past. Of course, the man has had to do what he had to do, deliver the way he had to do.
Well,
but
my issue with it is the fact that he doesn't need to be an 8-time world champion to be an absolute legend of the sport. He already is.
Correct. Yeah, so, nobody can deny that. Chat. If you're a Lewis fan or if you're not a Lewis fan, you cannot deny a man that's won multiple championships. Yeah. Just like you cannot deny the fact that Verstappen has won a couple of championships. You can't deny the fact that the man himself, Alonso, has won a couple of championships. I was about to say almost going back to Vettel, but Vettel's obviously has retired from. Anybody else in the grid that's won a world championship?
Well, before we move on, I have to say there is a scenario where you can be a complete contrarian and say that, well, maybe Lewis is actually only a 6-time world champion, and there's a case for that at the moment.
Oh, you can't go.
Yes, I went there. I'm going to leave it there and run away. I'm not.
You better be running away, my friend. Lewis is dad will be charging you down there after we gave everything in the Hamilton family, giving up everything, single thing, selling every tiny bit of money they had to invest in their son to get him into Formula One with go-karting and all that sort of jazz. You got to give him full credit for that one.
For sure. I've actually, I have the book from Lewis Hamilton, a book that he, brought out, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. And I had to read through that, and it's absolutely fascinating to read through all the stories and how he got himself to Formula One, because they really didn't have a lot when they started karting. And of course, he got lucky that he got picked up by Mercedes, which was McLaren at the time.
Ron Dennis.
Yeah, and you do have to, in karting, because I've had a wander around the karting paddock not too long ago. It's all about networking. It's all about networking. You hear it all the time. Getting to know people. It's not only about being quick. It's being networking in the paddock too. Getting to know people, and your personality, to a certain extent, gets you into Formula One too. So it's also a big part of you as a driver. Your personality is a big part in your junior career too.
You have to be quick to be in Formula One. Exactly as you mentioned there, Dan. Is did you really have to say that, Bill, in the chat there? Overlookhead is not whacking into the wall. He is not on that one.
For the record, I don't believe there's a case to pull that championship from Hamilton.
It's not going to happen. Even if it does, I will not acknowledge it for the rest of my casting career. Okay, so we'll move on from this, and we'll definitely move right now into the sprint feature. And we're definitely going to move into some very, very quick drivers. This is Leclerc sets one of the first times on the track there, proving that Ferrari. And remember, Charles Leclerc is a bit of a mastermind around here. He's almost like those old Senna moments, isn't he?
Verstappen on
the track.
So Verstappen on his Perez his first lap, 142.925. Sector 3 fastest. Verstappen, Sector 1, Sector 2 fastest, though Leclerc just took Sector 1. Verstappen goes P1, 142.427. So these are now times that are representative. Hamilton goes P3, 143.129.
Hulk might be off here. Hulk might be off. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. But he's come back onto the track. Luckily for Hulk. Verstappen, meanwhile, goes to a 42.417. Wow. That's well, the times have definitely jumped up a bit since SQ1.
Yeah, Grashi, they're going to be running some low fuel loads right now. You said they're all medium tires, of course. That is restricted to the session. So what's happened to Hulky? The Hulkenberg, of course, has pushed a little bit too much green, I think, to the wall. No, I think the Hulky's okay. Just a little bit. Thanks, Lapper.
We had a yellow, then we're back to green flag already. It means he went up the.
Hulk almost went straight into the wall. Sorry to interrupt you there. Out of turn 6, so into turn 7, went straight on, locked all the way in, and almost hit the wall. Stopped about, half a meter in front of the wall. So Hulk got a bit lucky there into turn 7.
Yeah, you've done that, Dan, but not into the pit lane, unfortunately. Charles Leclerc looking very, very, very quick there for the Ferraris. We know they're going to be fast. Come on, we want to see a Ferrari win a race this season. God, I love Red Bulls, but just 6 P2.
Lost a lot in Sector 2 there. It's about 4 tenths off of Max Verstappen this time. But lost a lot in Sector 2, and judging by the time that Sainz has said, and he's been about 8 to 7 tenths behind Charles Leclerc this whole weekend. There's about half a second in it for Charles Leclerc in Sector 2, I think.
And he's now set his time as a 142.
Yeah, but Grashi, who's in the bubble, my friend? The elimination zone is the key zone, isn't it?
Elimination right now. Obviously, Sargent is not on track. So there's only 4. Basically, it's Norris, Albon, Pulaski, and Hulkenberg are the 4 that we are looking at right now. Hulkenberg obviously having aborted his previous lap.
No one in the bottom 7 has set a representative lap time. Alonso, Stroll, Norris, Albon, Piastri, and Hulkenberg waiting to put a representative lap time on the board. Of course, Sargent, he will not move. He will stay on the exit of turn 15, entry of turn 16. Norris getting very close to the walls. On the exit now to that 2-kilometer long straight. He will be the first one.
So Telemetry just said he was 17 seconds quicker than everybody else on the track there. I think they messed that one up there before. We're used to that, Dan, but we need to see. Oscar and Norris get the McLarens in here.
And Norris is going to go P7, 3.395, and Piastri going to go P8. It's going to be jumped by Albon with a 1. So Albon is 143, Piastri is 144.1. And there might be another chance. No, they they have a chance to get around the track one more time on a cool down lap and then go full send on one more lap.
The mediums, I would say they can. That'd be the question out
that?
there for the racing statistics crew out there. So on the medium size, you guys can do. You can do a couple of laps there. Any predictions? And the hot zone. Remember the hot zone, of course, is those drivers that will be demoted and will not be able to participate in the next part of qualifying. So, any suggestions? Any predictions? Love that.
Yeah.
Hear that.
Look at that. Charles Leclerc, half a second slower than Max Verstappen in the middle sector. Like I said, there's about half a second in it there for Charles Leclerc. And I have to say, I do think that Charles Leclerc is going to be the one taking pole position here this evening. Max Verstappen has said, I've had enough. Into pit lane he went, and he is in pit lane.
What about George Russell too? Got to remember too, you're looking at a big-time car here.
So
this
someone's
is
off the track.
Russell needs to put in a hot lap here. Might be in trouble.
He's going to go around P6, P7, right where his teammate Lewis Hamilton is, I expect.
Right now, driver at risk is Piastri, but P11 is Russell. Arcon's P12, and then the Haas's are P2.
Russell goes to P7. Piastri in the drop zone. Albon at risk now.
Have you seen Alex's girlfriend? She's hot, mate. And one thing you want to be is hotter than your girlfriend. Get on the power there for the Williams driver.
Alcon goes to P11.
Yeah, but he's on the bubble.
No, he's out. He's going to be out.
Oh no! All right, and Charles Leclerc's just putting in a banker at the moment, just to remind everybody the Ferrari's in town. I wouldn't be surprised that would be the top of the timesheets, but it doesn't matter. He's through. It's all good.
Ferrari's back in town. Ferrari's back
Let's not mention my Australian driver at the moment, Oscar. Oscar, what are you doing to me?
Again, Leclerc was a fastest sector 1. Sorry, Leclerc fastest sector 1, and he does a 142.5. He is less than a tenth slower than Verstappen.
That middle sector from Verstappen was really quick. Because we've seen, Grass, that Ferrari has been quickest in that middle sector so far this whole weekend.
Perez in the pits.
Pulled it out of the bag.
Perez in the pits.
They don't need to go for another flyer. They're safe. No one is going to put them out of that top 5, really. Carlos Sainz went straight on in turn 3. Probably a smart decision to do. Excuse me, that was
Spanish. What do you think Carlos would be screaming in the car right now in Espanol there, Dan?
Probably thinks that we can't repeat on stream, even though it is Spanish. There we go. Bailed myself out of that one, even though I don't know any Spanish. I sounded like I did. Is it going to be Albon, though, through to Q3, SQ3?
Alex did it! I'm telling you, man, when they have a beautiful girlfriend that's a supermodel, gives you
someone needs to tell the Hulk that he needs an improvement. He's about 2.5 off of the drop zone. He's the only one who can put Albon out of SQ3. Hulkenberg needs an improvement, is not improving in Sector 1, needs an improvement in the middle section and the last sector to get out of SQ2. Norris, meanwhile, improving to someone. Tell Norris that he doesn't need to improve behind him. No one is improving anymore. Albon himself is improving too. Not by a lot. Hulkenberg, what can he do? It's about 10 seconds before he gets across the line. Norris across the line. Is he going to get himself into that top 5? He is not improved this time, though. And, stays in P8, but with an improved time. Hulkenberg to P11. And Albon is not safe because Piastri behind him is improving. He is to 7th. He goes Piastri to P10. Piastri to P10. Stroll behind him improving to Stroll. Should go to Q3 here. Gets a toll from Fernando Alonso. So teamwork from the Aston Martin drivers, and Stroll goes up into P7. Bumps Piastri into Q2. And Piastri's not going to make it out of SQ2. Norris is Russell, the only one on track improving at the moment. So it's Norris, Russell, Albon, Stroll, Hamilton, Alonso, Perez, Sainz, Leclerc, and Verstappen who are going to make it through to that last shootout session. It's Piastri, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Magnussen, and of course Sargent, who are out of qualifying. Of course, those two in the bottom 5 in SQ2.
And Grashy, I know I had to send you right down to talk to Zach, of course, the McLaren, because what's happened?
Norris gets into Q3. Well, this is going to get interesting because I don't think Norris has a soft tire to use. So I'm going to have to listen to some commentary to see what happens with him. But Piastri goes P11. He's going to be out. Again, it's Piastri's. It's Q2. It's fine. It's P11. So we'll see. And he's going to be P11 on the grid, which is not bad. It's just not ideal. He's in the middle of the pack, which for a rookie. He's done, he's improved over the other rookies. He's better than Sargent, P15, better than De Vries, P20. So, would you take P11 over those? Absolutely.
He is out, Biggles, by 32 thousandths of a second. And that is to his teammate. So I don't think you can really say a lot about Piastri's performance. If we look at Daniel Ricciardo, last season, he constantly was half a second off of Norris at least. Piastri,
the man's taken a year off from Formula 1. Remember, he's won a Formula 3 championship, won a Formula 2 championship, took a year off.
But Piastri,
he's chilling with Mark Webber for a little bit.
He's not doing bad.
But he wasn't driving per se or any fault of his own. There was just not a seat for him.
Yeah.
No, Oscar, I expect better. Sorry. Anyway. It is what it is, and that is just the grid results. But in there, you don't get paid for where you're going to start on the race. You're going to get paid for where you're going to finish in a race.
The Red Bulls already patiently waiting to start SQ3. But I'm, ladies and gentlemen, gonna leave you here. It's been a pleasure once again to be here.
Dan has to go racing. I think I watch
Yes.
Dan now. Dan, where are you racing real quick there before we get in the finale of the sprint race? Dan?
I'm racing at Silverstone.
In what car, my friend?
In the BMW M4 GT3. Well, for the people who want to watch, it'll be live on YouTube too, and you can watch it live. But,
Where are you expecting to come, my friend? Because I know there's a big grid as an endurance race as well.
Surviving will be the main thing. The GTPs, for the people who don't know, it's multi-class racing. We have GTPs, LMP2s, and GT3s. The GTPs through Megan Beckett in Silverstone. They're absolutely crazy, and they just send it at every opportunity. So just surviving, I think, will be one of the main parts to this endurance race. As always, it's an endurance race. Pace doesn't matter. It's consistency, and well, slow is fast, and consistent is quick. Is what the spirit of the team is. So yeah, we'll see how far we get. But thank you all for having me again today, and have fun in SQ3.
Lovely to have you back there, Dan. And good luck in your pit lane entrance in the future, of course, for your endurance racing. So remember, everybody, if you do want to get into esports racing, just give us a shout out there in the channel as well, and obviously like and subscribe, because if you like and subscribe, if you want to get a part of the esports racing scene, regardless of if it's F1 or not. F1 is the pinnacle of motorsports, remember, so you got to learn to walk before you can run, and the best community around here will try to get you on this one. But Grashy, my friend, well, it's it now. It's showdown, isn't it? It comes down to the best and the quickest of the quickest in the quickest of the circuit there in Baku. What is it? 300 plus change in the main straightaway?
Yeah, that's pretty. It's going to be a good session. With half of the grid off out of the way now. I mean, these 10 are going to. Well, we'll see about Norris. So the issue with Norris that's coming up is that he does not have a soft tire to use. That's basically what F1 is reporting, is that he doesn't have a tire to use in this session. So it is interesting to see what is going to happen with him going forward.
So just to explain anybody with the tires now, because we're all a little bit confused.
Okay. So the issue, my apologies. But the issue involved here is that with the shootout, there are mandatory tires. So it was mediums in first and second qualification sessions. In this third qualification session, they are required to use a soft tire. And somehow, Lando managed to not have soft tires to available to him. So not sure what's going to happen in a moment. It was something that Sam on F1 has been talking about, and now it has come to pass there's a scenario going on here. So we will hear about what is his situation in a moment.
And I hope to hear from everybody out there in the chat here. Racing Statistics, of course. We love everybody in here, and we love all your feedback, because we've had you gladiators out there. Without your racing souls, without your racing spirit, there is no fun. It's called Racing Statistics for a reason, because you know the numbers. Crunch the numbers and crunch what's going to happen for the sprint race shootout coming up very, very soon. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe. And if you do enjoy Mr. Grash, myself there, Mr. Biggles, and of course Mr. Dan, and all the other, and Rain. Can't forget Rain. Rain's been everywhere. Unfortunately, he hasn't been on this track this evening, but Rain will be back, and Rain is always around. So tune in, because it's Formula One, and we are in Baku. Just early days in the season as well. 22 races as
started,
well.
And the cars are on their first out lap. So there'll be only 8 minutes left in this session.
It's so quick, isn't it? It's going to be what, one lap at best, I would say, or two. I believe it was two.
Maybe
right?
two, possibly two.
Pending traffic as well.
Pending traffic, pending how everything's go. It's you can maybe get two. It's definitely one. So the lap that they put up is pay attention, because that is this is what's going on at the moment with the sprint. They're
Look
still
at
on their
the track map.
first.
Look at the track positions. It's going to be key, isn't it? Because you got to find that gap. Verstappen won't be crossing the line soon. Perez will be crossing the line first. I say Perez will be sent the first statement of the time. That everybody would be the benchmark to say, Sergio, well, here it is. Viva la Mexico. But can Max Verstappen match that time or even beat that time? The question coming up soon. Of course, the Ferraris, we know they have some pace. Can Carlos maybe dethrone Charles Leclerc? There's been a bit of an honorable member around Baku. Verstappen sent that statement early. Perez. Now, then they're flying laps as well, too. Hamilton and Russell putting times in.
Starting their flying laps. They're starting their flying laps now. So they're coming through the speed trap at speed, but they're now starting their flying lap.
Which may be the very last flying lap that they could do. 5 minutes to change, so you got to go double laps on those tires. I don't think you get back into pit lane and go back out again and do it. No, it won't be happening. That's the reason why they're doing it. Verstappen versus Perez, the battle of the Red Bulls. Don't forget, of course, the old flying silver bulls there, Mercedes, and nothing of there. I'm a little bit surprised that the Ferrari is not really shining at the moment. And don't forget the Aston Martins. Maybe they're saving the surprise towards the end there.
Perez is going to cross the line first. Verstappen's going to cross the line second on these flying laps.
5 minutes to go. Perez is quick. Verstappen's quick. Mini purple sections you can see there on the track map. You can see there on your live timing here presented by Race Statistics. It's interesting. I'm not quite sure the Ferraris are lining up the timing board that we would expect to see Charles Leclerc. But Charles
Perez is at 141.867. P1.
Go ahead.
Verstappen is going to come in. He might come in under. If he needs to pick up time in. Yeah, so Verstappen comes in P2, 142.140. He was slower in the sector 2. Albon, P3, now pushed down by Hamilton, now P3. So Hamilton, P3, Russell, P4, Albon, P5. All in the 142s, Albon in 143.
That's it. I'd have to say perhaps for the Red Bulls.
Next coming across is Alonso, P6. Stroll. He has got some sections. So Stroll comes in P6, pushing Alonso P7. Next come across the line is going to be Leclerc and Sainz. And Norris is not taking part because he doesn't have the tire.
That Stroll's qualified there, Alonso. And then again, Charles Leclerc. Let's see if he can do it. Can he get the Ferrari on top? Charles Leclerc, be the mastermind here. In Baku. Is the Leclerc back? Is the Ferrari's back? You better believe it. Charles Leclerc
goes
on
P1
top of the time sheets.
Sainz goes P2. Leclerc goes 141.697, about 0.2 faster than Perez, 0.2 faster than Perez. Sainz is P4, 142, about 10th and a half slower than Verstappen. So with 3.5 minutes left, they should be able to get around, and most of them to get a second flying lap.
I doubt it.
What's going to happen is they'll go around, and then as long as they get across that around before the session ends, their next lap will still be counted.
This is going to be interesting because obviously this is a stretch for something that's very, very new here in Formula One. Now, the drivers are on outlaps. You'll see on the timing tables, you go orange, 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 right? That yellow, like, what are they doing? Well, at the moment, they're doing the outlap. They're going slow. What they're doing is charging their battery. They're making sure that your tire temperature's up. They're talking to their teams. And they're going to get ready for a final fast lap. Now, we don't know whether that lap will be quicker than the lap that they just delivered. I'm sure the drivers are debating for team members right now with their engineers. Their engineers are crunching numbers going, can we go quicker or not? I don't know, Gross. You're the man that's an expert here, as well as everybody in Race Statistics. What do you think?
They're going to have to go quicker on tires where they've already done a push lap on. So it's not like they can come in and put in a new set of tires. That's not in the realm of possibilities here.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I think
it's a new venture.
I think my gut feeling is that I think majority of them are going to stay out on track and try and do another.
They're slowing down. Just to let everybody know what the pitch is at the moment. They're slowing down. They're on track. and they are committing to whatever they had to commit. Now, once again, these drivers are also venturing into territory they're not used to. So they've already did their flying lap, just exactly what you mentioned on the fresh boots. But now it's go, go, go. And now it's the final showdown to see whether anybody could dethrone Charles Leclerc. Perez will probably be first out in the lap.
The question is if everyone's going to get across the line to start that flying lap. And that's
you're either,
the point.
yeah.
Yeah, because because they just did that slowdown. There's a case where if there should be enough time, but we just going to make sure that everyone is getting over the line, and Perez has.
Well, it's more importantly keeping out of the fence, because we've seen a couple of those drivers bit it into the fence. Those barriers take absolutely no prisoners. Perez will be one of the first drivers out there to put the banker lap of all banker laps in. We're seeing mini purple sectors. We're seeing a lot of mini sectors. Perez is a little bit up and down on that one. We'll see how he's going to pan out. He's going to be the first one to be crossing the line. Other drivers are very, very quick and very pacey. This is it. It's showdown. Go through the castle section. Do not bid it. Do not do our I am situation. Perez, once Perez's first time is in here, if he can beat Charles Leclerc time, is going to indicate to everybody else at the moment that 2 laps on these soft tires are going to work. We'll see.
The other thing that we should say, if there's a crash right now with anyone, it's going to stop the session and freeze all the times.
Exactly. So, yellow flag has been called by somebody on the line there. I can't see the pictures. Oh, it's a Ferrari into the fence. I can't see who was that exactly. That is where and when. Anyway, Perez could cross the line there. Perez can't take it. I don't think he can. He's about to go across the line. Oh. It is green flag for Perez, but it will be enough. It won't be enough. What's happened? Which Ferrari is in the fence?
He's moving. So this could go back to a green flag scenario.
Yeah, but everybody behind them. That's interesting. Verstappen is on a flying lap, but he's had to back off big time. George Russell. And I think Leclerc had to back off. But what is the Ferrari? I think that was Carlos. I think Carlos. Can anybody confirm that one in the chat? Verstappen cannot go faster. He cannot go faster for the slowdown. Verstappen P3. And I think that situation that you just mentioned, Gez.
I think Perez was able to get, because he was further ahead. Because Perez was so Perez was further down the track. He was not in that localized yellow, so he was able to complete his lap, which puts him in P2. I think everyone else got in that localized zone. I know Verstappen maybe finished, but basically most of the people weren't able to.
I think Charles hit the fence. Yeah, Charles hit the fence. A little step over this deal, trying to push it. But
and he's driving without half his wing.
He guess what, Charles? You are not, because my friend, you had the fastest time. You may very well be on pole position, even if you did make a mistake during this sprint qualifying. You still had the fastest time. I don't think he can be that upset about that. How's that for the chat, everybody?
It's still damaged.
It's a new format. It's interesting, isn't it? He's got it. Leclerc is on pole. It's going to feel good. What is it, Charles Leclerc in Baku? I don't know what it is. He needs some more race victories, but the man dominates practice sessions and qualifying. And give it to the monocast driver. He is absolutely brilliant. And we love to see Ferrari up the top of the timesheets. And we love to see Charles Leclerc. Everybody out there in the chat there, please give a big, huge congratulations to Charles Leclerc. I mean, he didn't lock his girlfriend out of his Monaco apartment when during the quarantine. And she's like, Charles, I need to get back into the apartment. And she had to subscribe to his Twitch just to get a message to him. Charles has subscribed right now to Azerbaijan, and he subscribed to their pole position. GG's.
So here we go. So our positions is Leclerc P1, Perez P2, Verstappen P3. Russell is P4, Sainz P5, Hamilton P6, Albon P7, the Aston Martins, Alonso Stroll P8, P9, Norris, who didn't take part because of tires, P10. Piastri out in the other session, P11. Hulkenberg P12, Ocon, Magnussen, Sargent, Zhao, Bottas, Nuda, Gasly, De Vries. That's our order for the sprint race tomorrow. Later this afternoon, I should say.
It's been a fantastic. So hit like and subscribe, everybody, if you want to be tuning in, of course, to the race tomorrow. There, Grash, always a fantastic have you in the commentary box, of course, my friend. How did you think about this whole scenario real quickly before I summarize it? This new format for Formula One this weekend.
I enjoyed it to the max because sometimes in practice, teams are just like, they're doing things and we don't know why they're doing things. Whereas in this scenario, we have that one practice, and it's everything on the line with that practice to get things right because there's no other practice. And then we go into qualification and this no. So basically, it is just race actions. Since free practice 1, it's race action, and that's been wonderful. I've been enjoying it, to be quite honest. It's like, again, the question people who don't like this format is like, wait, you don't want more race action? Because we just got great race action right here. So,
and we found
I'm enjoying
tonight. And thank you very much, because I'm enjoying it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and this format, now that we pulled that FP2 for this shootout, this format feels awesome. Like it's not every week. I don't want every race weekend to be this, but this is a solid, entertaining race weekend format.
Well, we all have clicked together all those cars with our Lego, and as you all say, everything is awesome. Everything is absolutely awesome here at the Formula One Live. Watch along with the shootouts, the qualifying, the races, the free practices, everything you want to hear. Grashy, of course, a fantastic band that gives you delivering all the results there. I've been the Dean Biggles. We've been joined by Dan and the man behind the scenes there, Race Statistics. And of course, we thank you, every single one of those contributors out there, every single one of you guys and girls that contribute to your chat, because without you, there is no Race Statistics. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you tune in for the finale, for the main race coming up soon.
The sprint. The sprint is not the finale. That's tomorrow. Sprint race coming in 4 hours. Ryan is on board to be doing that. So those who were like, "Where's the usual guy?" Coming next. He's in the next session.
That's right.
So
yeah.
And if you guys stay with if you don't go away, as soon as the stream ends, you will be brought to that sprint race stream channel. So don't leave the channel right away. Just stay here. Most likely after we're done, there'll be some cool ass music to be played. All right. So from everyone here at Race Statistics, I want to thank you, everyone. We'll see you in a little while.